Hello and welcome back to Esoteric Ebb. So, we finished this quest and we get a perk, a feat. Trouble brewing. Young women running around the streets slinging Asgalist propaganda to unsuspecting citizens. Boys causing chaos in the name from some hapless magazine-inspired rebellion. This cannot be tolerated. Too much chaos has been caused by these damn kids. Indeed, this must be solved with the might of the state. We shall. The Asgal youths did nothing to warrant such pushback. This era is one of communication, ideas interchanged freely between a populace of free-minded thinkers, folks dreaming of an egalitarian potential. However, the problem lies with the unfortunates who break and sear Volcarian thought with reckless unkindness. You must pray for them, beg of them. Please, please stop being so mean. Appealing to their better nature, great idea. Sarcastic. To believe in the better nature of these boys will not hurt. Those boys might be unkempt and rough, but they are proud citizens of a great city. They are performing a service, albeit a crude one beyond the realm of the law. But to youth Asgals, they are even more unlawful, to a much steeper degree. Yeah. What has happened here is a complication upon society, a representation of the wider culture. Young men are drawn towards the rough, downtrodden world of the dreamers, the hope of national unity through an Earthian story, one of leadership and honor. But without that guiding star, there is no such singularity, no control, no wise king to bend the knee to. Instead, those boys are simply expressing pain through violence, enacted onto those who are attempting to craft a more caring future, that is, young women. They, as opposed to young men, are drawn towards a more social type of unity, with welfare and Asgalian flattened hierarchical structures. Beyond Asgal himself, who is by his function also a male figure, it is to womanly people you should look towards. Lady Fair is one, the halfling god. Yes, Lady Fair and those not, the walking god who gave everything to save her people. Her words are few, but spread far across the coast. Her church is quite active among Norwegian society, as organization of charity. One open to all folk, no matter their origin. Egalitarian dream. This is why women, as harsh as it is to say, are simply more suited for Norwegian leadership. Lady Fair makes it clear, a house held by women stands any season. Feels like a good man for thinking such a... I want to lead in the future and I'm not a woman. No interest in the future leadership? I want to lead in the future and I'm not a woman. Does that mean you can bring wisdom and goodness to the world as a man? If a woman rises to the occasion, you must make an effort to enable her rise. There is something so powerful about dreams, ideas spreading from man to woman, woman to man. But the Asgalian dream is not a blessing, it is a smile wrought in pain. A vision of 1,000 layers of intersecting nets and labels, tangling every person, ensnaring them into an oppressor or oppressed. And there is oppression. There are unfair hierarchies. This world is corrupt, but not fundamentally. If these boys are pushing back against Asgalism, that is only natural. It is an ideology which pushes a foundational belief that they are naturally oppressively superior. If a young man grows up in squalor, finding zero advantages from him being a man among patriarchs, nor any powers from being a human, especially if he grows up within non-human clusters, something many of the poorest humans do. When he's unable to find a job at age 19 and has almost no political, societal, or economic power in his life, which dream do you think he would believe in? The one calling him to fight to reclaim what is his by right? A good life as a future patriarch, or the one calling him an oppressor? It does not call him an oppressor. That is an unfair reading. Asgalism is about systemic change. That young man is trapped in the same cycle of violence that all men find themselves since the dawn of time, that he must fight, that he must be a patriarch to have that good life. Asgalis would lay the foundation that allows him to be free from these burdens. He would be free to find that job, that good life, with the same prospects as everyone else. That foundation is laid by raising women to the forefront, by allowing them to flatten our hierarchies, bring about a new world. Suppose a man already has it pretty terrible in a world where he's supposed to be at the top, then a world where his advantages are gone would seem even worse. I'm sure there's a female perspective here somewhere as well, but I've only read about that in Mom's books. Seems to me like it's more of a branding issue, that Asgalists need to be more in tune with the economic aspect of intersectionality. They're clearly losing out on a ton of angry book burning boys. Yeah, that would be smart, actually. I just want what's best for women. 5 or... I think as the Wizard King wannabe, this. Unfair reading, yes. You can think of it as unfair, or you can think of it as a clear message. You need to come to that realization. The one every boy reaches towards the late stages of their capitalistic, pubertistic, and socialistic awakenings that, no, not at all. It is only your placement you must understand. Figure out where you've planted these 2 feet of yours and accept where your bones will begin their incessantly slowish grind into the pavement. Learn more. Steel yourself. Seek love. Be more. Come on, are these my 2 choices? I want to roleplay a self-obsessed, narcissistic, evil wizard. Do I need strength for that? Apparently I do. How is this possible that even being fully awake, your feet feel as though they are floating? As if you have no tether to the ground nor the world. You do not belong here. What does that mean? It means your opinion in this does not matter. Nothing matters. Everything is loose and fleeting, neutered and flat. There is no real difference in the spirit of men and women. It's all an illusion. Yes, an illusion. Oh, it is such a simple answer, huh? As you compare and contrast, as you break away the many specifics and biases and little intricacies that make each man a man and each woman a woman, what is left is but the souls of these folks, these creatures of biological realities and spiritual happenstances. Each of them loving and holding and hating and screaming within yours arbitrary spectrum, within some neatly organized checkboxes on a governmental form, within the heart and genitalia of each young, virile, beastly person who struts across this artificial landscape. They think so much, they feel so much, both as one. They are, men and women are innumerably more similar than they have ever been different. Any kind of statistical calculation of divinely attributed seance will always point in this exact direction. There are extremely minor divergences in the averages. These are negligible. The default man and the default woman are going to be, in every single way that matters on a broader scale, equal. That doesn't make any sense. They look real different. The outside, yes. Those are the biological realities. Realities that do affect opinions and reactions and opportunities and lifestyles and love itself. But it does not make for a statistical eternal life scale difference. I'm sorry, but this is somewhat correct? Not completely? Is this choice being forced down my throat? Yeah, this choice is being forced down my throat. Okay. There are some inside biological realities as well that we cannot ignore. Other than that, identity is of course something else, something more free. But yeah. And especially my character is not going to... How do I know this? You know it because you feel it esoterically. However, those minor differences on the average, they coagulate towards the extremes. A bell curve. It's a miracle the green one took this long to figure out. A bell curve. Men are 1,000% more aggressive than women in the averages. That is nothing but an indication of this. The most violent people in society are all men. It means both of these following statements are fully true. Men and women are the same. Men and women are different in the extremes. And how does that affect reality exactly? Only in extreme cases does gender affect anything. If you are dealing with the most empathetic people in the world, they will almost all be women. If you are dealing with the most competitive people in the world, they will almost all be men. Yet for the vast majority of groups and collections of people, the most... You know what? Wait, no, I have to read this. For the vast majority of groups and or collections of people, the more empathetic and competitive are just likely to be either men or women. This gender divide is not something you should use or judge to evaluate average people in average day-to-day life. It's only relevant in vastly wide distributions. We'll always have more male criminals. We'll always have more female asgilists. Only because the most violent people become criminals and the most lovely people become asgilists. Yeah? A dream of egalitarianism does not need to be destroyed because of physical reality. We can hope to flatten the world, not erase all its personality and quirks. Now, you must choose. Choose a side, as difficult as it may be. Future patriarch, brotherhood. Extra proficiency in roles when speaking with masculine characters. Feminine. Sorcerer. Okay. Okay. The rest will follow soon. Okay. That is quite the choice I'm making here. We have another finished quest here. Oh yeah, the wizard. That's a thing now. It's terrible, the type of discrimination faced by your kind these days, simply because of ignorance. But you will take it all in stride, for the peasants do not matter one bit. Yes, as a wizard, I must stand above them all, for I am the greatest arcanist of this generation. Such words would have the populace sneer at you, all due to the Coast War. But remember, a genius does not concern himself with the opinion of small minds. Take on the realm, master the esoteric, become the god emperor wizard of Norvik. It is what you deserve. A man of your talents must be appreciated, feared, admired. They will grovel for a glimpse, a fleeting glance of a spark of your great flame, and so on. Yeah, I already know. Oh, that's my only choice. A good first step. Acknowledge your privilege. Use it to subjugate the lesser beings around you. Soon enough, they will all bow down to your greatness. Feel like you found yourself. Wait, what does that give me? Amount of spells you can prepare is increased by an extra proficiency. Saving throws made by targets are also rolled at a disadvantage. Okay, interesting, but... Didn't... So... But that wasn't the Asgalist meeting, was it? Oh, wrong. Oh yeah, Viskin was the Lich House man. Oh. Find the location of this copper press and the name of the secret editor. Okay. Yeah, but pretty sure there was a... okay, maybe that was it anyway. How bizarre. Were you here before? Why can't I analyze? DC 13? Nah, no, that's not. Cleric, sorry, I'm busy. I am not a cleric. How dare you? I am your future master. Okay. Hmm. Well, we're too early for Darrow. Oh, hello. What? Your muscles tense up. Oh shit, it didn't save. Masked assassin. Face of iron appears from nothing. You hear the goblin say something to you. Dagger! Doesn't need to raise his voice. Know the gravity of the world. Word. Do I always have to roll like shit? Breathing stopped. Fear response begun. Masked one is ready. Immediately rushes forward. The sharp dagger thrusts towards its target. What? The ring mail underneath is the only thing keeping you from being gashed open. Snell gets ready to act. His eyes quickly assess the situation. The goblin glances at the dagger, almost piercing your chest, then rushes forth, aiming a decisive blow against the masked one's left leg. It hits! Not by much, but enough to stagger the masked one. Probably can't talk your way out of this one. Heart racing, death approaching. Is this some kind of encounter? No. Nice! The goblin remains in his fighting stance for a few more seconds, then relaxes his posture, giving you a nod. Brutal. Calculated. If it works, it works. Well, we don't get to loot him. Leans out over the abyss, staying several steps away from the colorful substance greased all over the bridge. They really should add guardrails here. A complaint. You fail once more. What do you mean, no reason to cast this spell? It's cooler without. Maybe if you've got that feather fall, but for us mortals, this is a splat kind of moment. Sadly, the old lady couldn't get the building permits. Otherwise, we'd have bolted up this place a long time ago. But for this one, I guess it worked out. Sort of. He rubs his chin. Someone wants us dead. Or you, more likely. We must investigate carefully. Yep, another one on the list. Adrenaline wearing off. Beware. Everything is a bit wobbly. Oh boy. Cleric, do you need any motions towards your neck? Press a hand against your neck, right where you felt the blade hit. The area hurts, but more importantly, it is not wet. You will live. Lucky every time. Nothing but a minor bruise. You can heal that with your magic easily. I'm fine, he got my armor. Yep. Aren't you lucky, he says, taking a deep breath. Guess we're gonna need it if someone's sending assassins after us. Even incompetent ones like that. Why would an assassin be after you? This warrants an investigation. We already said that, just like now. That mask was weird. Yeah, gives me the creeps just thinking about it. Looking like some old ceremonial thing. Religious rites, sacrifices, cults. Cultists? These days, evil cults aren't a thing in Norvik. Gives you a snide smirk if you believe the magistrates. He's implying there is a world underneath the city officials do not know or care for. City under the city. Love that place. Could also be connected with something below. We should go ask Snorre, your new scholarly friend. He might know a thing or two about cults. Who do you think sent him? No clue. Let's hope they're as bad at their job as that guy was as his. can't get away with that, not on our streets. Yeah. Great. Goblin is more competent than you imagined. You have a feeling this will be a fruitful partnership if you can get on his good side. This attack was coordinated, not very effectively, but nonetheless planned. There will be more coming. Snell checks around the crossing, a wary scowl on his face. Grease is cleared. Let's get out of here. Yeah? Holy shit. Well, I don't need to use spells if I can just... do this. We should go back to Snorre. Ask him. That's not Snorre. Wait, where was he again? Here? Yeah. Waves a hand in front of him. Life is pain. Now what do you want? We were attacked by an assassin. Seemed like a cult thing. Yeah. Had this iron mask on. Real creepy. Ah! Cults are not as common these days, but a few still spring up from time to time, of course. What did the mask look like? Green. Oxidized copper, maybe. Lines across it. Seemed esoteric. Definitely esoteric. Definitely esoteric. And a dagger. A wavy yellow thing. Basically, he ran at us and tried to stab us. Well, something magical was going on too. Then he got away before we could get answers, after he failed to kill us. What do you mean he got away? Failed to kill us, or at least a cleric. Not a cultist. Doesn't sound like it. Not any organized thing, at least. Sounds more like some lone actor. Cultists move in groups. They kidnap rather than kill. They wear matching uniforms like some fucking theater performance. From all the cults I know of, Esud's Dragon Cult, the Cult of Elemental Evil, haha, the various Titan cults, and all the borderline cults for the evil walking gods. This could be a new one, or some minor cult history has overlooked. More likely this is a radicalized spellcaster, or a follower of some magical creature. If he's draped up in magic gear, it's more likely a professional hit. Does anyone want you dead? Yeah, might have something to do with the tea shop. Halfling barely listens to your comment and touches his mustache. Perhaps a warlock. Goblin winces at her hearing the word. For what patron? Fake creature or some aberration? Who knows? Should be careful though, that kind of magic is deadly at best. Right, good info. Slightly horrifying, but good info. We'll keep that in mind if we run into him again. You do that, and my tip? Strike before he gets off any dark magic on you. As the old legionnaires say, rather a blade in the belly than a curse on the balls. True. Yeah, he's an Asgalist. Oh, why? Pragmatic dogma. Yeah, I don't need to know all this. Not as this character. Actually, if we're gonna argue, but I don't want to piss this guy off. Can I not just keep my agenda to myself? Asgalism is supposed to be about abolishing the entire structure of hierarchy. That history is driven by economic struggles, specifically the clash between classes. Asgard's end goal is a classless, stateless society where everyone's equal. Looking at the Norwegian Asgardists, it's clear to me they long ago let this goal slip past. Look at them. They are shaking hands with the establishment, trying to find a peaceful solution. They say they are simply becoming part of the establishment. True, a compromise with capitalism will always be all-consuming. Look, Harry Halfling mutters. Genuine change, true change, needs a truly revolutionary break with the existing order. There is no doubt about that. Incremental reforms, small changes within the capitalist system will always fail to address its fundamental contradictions and injustices. My time in Reeds made that clear to me, but always be wary of simplistic utopian visions. It is a path covered in corpses that lead such blind idealism. So I will vote for his social democratic compromise, his handshake with capital. Then I'll go home and piss myself and die, dreaming the next generation will have answers I do not. You know what? I'm still the asshole character, so I, on the other hand, am not an Asgardist. Lucky bastard. With a deep groan, he starts rubbing his hairy face. Workers unite and unionization and guild power, it is all well and good until it gets too loud. Make a bit too much noise and the true powers quickly and efficiently drop this illusionary mask facade. The esoteric spell that tricks us into thinking they care, or that they are in any way Folkarian. So what about you, cleric? Tell me, if not Asgardist, why are you voting? Yeah, I'm voting for the new God King Wizard Emperor of Norvik. Oh, who is that? I did not see that dude on the card. Me, of course. What are your qualifications? Come on, sell it to me. Why should you be king? Do it. Show him your intellect. Now, for something else. What do you mean? That's my... Because I have fucking 18 intelligence? This is my potential answer? He sniffs. Now, for something else, before I start ranting about the suffragette movement. Yeah, I've got some other questions. This is ridiculous. I've got 18 intelligence and I can't do it. Show him your intellect. What? Why don't you use magic in your mind healing? It does not work. Not the greatest arcanist could invent a spell capable of fixing mental unwellness. If you happen to find a cure mind spell, you would make a fucking fortune casting it on rich people around the coast. Although, just the thought of such magic gives me a sort of ontological nightmare. What does it mean to have a cured mind? Did Jor, or some outside god, at some point decide what constitutes a wound of the mind? In the same way suffering is used to heal wounds of the physical. Pain equals negativity, that is universal. The universal indicator of the negative. Yes, when you heal a person, magic itself targets the source of pain as a sort of bullseye for reverting any harm, no matter the source of or specific biology of the person. But what if one suffers from night terrors caused by some horrors of the past? Should a mind heal spell remove your ability to have night terrors, or should it remove their traumatic source from your memory, or simply lessen your mental ability of neuroticism? Could the latter lead to a society without neurotic people? Would that also dampen other fears? What would Jor consider to be a good level of negative thought? It sends my mind spinning. Yeah, there's a reason why that does not exist. No, the mind requires another method. One I and many others are attempting to untangle. We will see if any of us are even remotely successful in this brain bullshit. Can you give me some mind healing? Of course, I'm however a bit swamped in work right now. I will get you a booked slot. I have time after the election. Can't you make time now? No. very overworked. Old man is frustrated. He's trying to avoid even thinking about it and focusing on the specific idea of civics, the idea of two opposing faces of your ego, masculine and feminine. Is he going to keep talking? Oh yes, no control here. See, there's a work called Book of the Mind. It is, in my opinion, civics masterpiece in a figurative sense. Okay. Is it like a secret book hidden deep in some dungeon? Sounds nerdy, figurative. I own several copies. There is a rare edition of this book which contains a rumored so-called final foreword from Civics himself. In this foreword, he apparently reveals a revelation about his categorization of the psyche, specifically on the topic of gender. Truly eldritch knowledge. Might be nothing, but would be highly interesting to get my grubby hands on it. He leans in and whispers, and more importantly, it would bring me great pleasure to know how much Civics would be spinning in whatever Tazenian mass grave he's buried in, if he knew a halfling like myself was pioneering in his footsteps. Ho ho! Yeah, understandable, you guys are pretty weird. I might be, but most halflings are quite boringly normal. Snortle leans back in his chair. His final 6th edition of the book was only printed in 10 copies. The publisher then hiked up the price in order to sell it to collectors. Those collectors have then spent the last 3 decades using these copies as a form of investment, making sure to keep the content of that foreword a tightly guarded secret. Reading is boring. Yeah, smart. Like any good capitalistic method, it sucks value from a work like mosquito sand. You want me to find it? Sure. I drank a bit too much the other night, and in my desperation I paid a diviner to cast Locate Object for me. Didn't expect anything, and it was very expensive. However, she actually found it. A copy of the 6th edition Book of the Mind is here, very close to Waterlane View. She even told me the exact direction. Points to the floor. About 40 meters straight down. In the city below. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Delve into the dangerous tunnels, get me that book. Sure. Well, what the fuck kind of reward do you want? You have a magic item? Books in droves. The book itself, it's expensive and probably magical in some sense. Get me the book, let me take a look at that foreword, and you keep the book afterwards. Still a quest, right? But I don't have to even return it to you in that case. I can just take the book and go. True. So you can't offer me something else too? What, you want a hug? I suppose I can offer you some guidance in understanding the book as well. Let me make a copy of that foreword real quick. This quest will be completed. Please don't huzzah. Huzzah! I'm not an expert in what kind of weird shit is down there, but the city below is dangerous, so don't wander blindly. Good luck, cleric. Alright, I think that's all for now. And that is also going to be the end of this episode. Hope you enjoyed watching and hope to see you next time. Bye bye.